Hello, and welcome to Fringe 101, how to prepare for your tech rehearsal. We're going to be talking about a lot of other things today, too. My name is Sammy Desiree. I'm the Performer Services Manager, and this is my fourth year doing this job. I've been doing Fringe, I realized last week, for maybe about a decade. I think my first Fringe was in 2016. As a performer. I'm so excited to be back and to see you all, meet you all. It's truly the best time of year in Winnipeg, honestly. The festival is so much fun. And I'm excited to get started very, very soon. I'm going to hand it over to Allison.
Hi, everybody. I'm Allison Lote. I'm the production manager for the Fringe Festival. I've been doing the Winnipeg Fringe for quite a few years now, many years. I started working in front of house prep and site supering and things like that, and then moved my way up, venue technician, site technician, and now to production manager. And together with Dalton Kreller, we sort of make up the technical supervisory team. So you'll see mostly Dalton and our associate technical director Alex about the square. Less of me, more of them, which is a good thing. But it truly is Fringe-miss, and we're very excited to get going on things. So thank you for those of you who joined us today, and we're looking forward to walking you through stuff and answering any questions you have.
Absolutely. So we're just going to start off with a short video about how to prepare for your technical rehearsal. So we'll get started with that. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This video is for performers who are new to the Winnipeg Fringe Theatre Festival to help you prepare for the most important event, your tech rehearsal. Step 1. Go to the Performer Toolkit and find your venue plans and specs. The plans will tell you the spatial details of your assigned venue for the purposes of blocking your show in rehearsal. The specs will tell you what the plans can't. What are the refocusable lights or specials, a description of the lighting as hung, crossovers, entrances and exits, sound playback available, and where you have to go to load in. If what you need isn't listed, you have to provide it yourself, including any hookup or power cables or rigging stuff for things that will be hung from pipes. Check with Fringe Production to see if something is feasible. Step 2. Prepare a script showing your lighting and sound cues and standbys, which lets your technician know when sound and lighting cues are about to happen. Prepare your sound cues in an appropriate playback form for your venue. Get your set, props, and costumes all ready to go, and arrange transportation and a crew to bring everything to your venue. Step 3. Loading in. Get to the loading area 15 minutes before your tech time. You won't get in earlier because other groups are in there before you, or the venue technicians may be on their break, but have everything ready to move. Once the venue technicians meet you at the door, bring your gear and people into the space quickly. Prior to your tech, you should have rehearsed your setup and strike in addition to your performance. Each person in the company should have a task to complete as part of their pre- and post-show duties. Most Fringe venues are essentially a black box, a cube with black legs and borders, which make rudimentary wings for entrances and exits. There will be a fixed lighting hang, as outlined in the specs, with certain lighting wash effects, like warm summer light, cool winter light, or cool night light. Step 4. Explain your cues clearly to your venue tech, who will be helping you to achieve those looks, as well as learning your show during the tech rehearsal. While your stage manager and director are determining and teaching the venue technician the cues, the rest of your company should be setting things up on stage and backstage. Your venue tech will have given you a specially colored spike tape for you to mark where your stuff goes on stage. Once you have set your sound and lighting cues, if there is time, do a run with cues in place. Your ultimate goal is to have a good tech run of the whole show.
Stand by lights 6 through 7 and sound 6.
Sound and lights.
Sound 6 and lights 6. Go. Lights 7. Go.
Step 5. Pack everything up and store it in the place that your venue tech shows you backstage. You will have 15 minutes at the end of your tech rehearsal to do this, which is what you will have after each performance. And that's it. Now here are some answers to some common questions. When do we show up to do our show? You show up 30 minutes before showtime. What's with that 45 minutes between shows? 15 minutes for the previous show to strike and audience to leave. 15 minutes for you to set up, and 15 minutes for your audience to come in. Can you use liquids including blood? Yes, if you clean up and dry the floor thoroughly afterwards. How about breakaway glass or china? No. Balloons? Also no, as some people have latex allergies. Same with peanuts or peanut butter. Herbal cigarettes? Most venues discourage any smoking products, so get a fake cigarette. We're at the MTC warehouse, and as you can see, we're setting up venue 6. And we're just going to go through stage directions with you guys. So when you're doing your lighting design, you and the tech are on the same page and talking about the same area of the stage. So right now, I am down center. Downstage, you're coming down to the audience. When you're going upstage, you're going away. So that's upstage. And this is up right. So now I am down right. Down left. I am up left. Up center stage. So those are your stage directions. There's tons of really useful information on our Performer Toolkit online, including a handy FAQ page, which we try to keep updated as we get more inquiries. If you have specific questions to your show or venue, please contact us. Thank you for watching. Happy fringing.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And just a note for everyone who's watching, because we are live, we are accepting questions. So please, as you think of them, just pop them in the chat and we will get to them as needed once we've gone through more of the information. Also, you did see our email addresses there, and we'll just remind you again, I'm sort of like your go-to person, performers at winnipegfringe.com as the performer services manager. So you can come to me with anything, and if I can't help you, I will direct you to the right person to do so. We also have our production at winnipegfringe.com, and that is Allison. Yeah. And then Tori Pop, our festival manager, she has also sent you several emails, as have I. Great. Amazing. So we have one more video to show you. It's our stage management video. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Catherine, and I'm going to talk to you about how to prepare for your tech rehearsal as a stage manager. What you need to do before your tech rehearsal is to sit down with your director and have what's called a paper tech. You're going to tech through the show on paper, go through your script, and know where you want to put every sound cue and every lighting cue and what you want those lighting cues to look like. I usually start by creating a lighting cue sheet, which very simply is a table with 4 columns. First column, your cue number. You're going to leave that blank until your tech. Your technician, as they build the lighting cues, will tell you what cue number each cue is. Second column, where the cue happens. Where specifically in the script, what page, what line, what word you want those lights to change on. Third column, what does this cue do? Is it a blackout? Is it a transition light? Is it exactly what you want to see happen on stage? Be as specific as you can. The more specific you are, the easier it is for your technician to build a light that you're looking for. The fourth column is length of the cue. Is it a quick lighting change? Is it a snap, 0 seconds, all of a sudden there's light on stage? Or is it a very slow fade that the audience barely notices, like a 60-second cue? Put in a number there that you think might be right. It's very easy to change it and fix it during your tech, but just a rough idea is great. So once you've got your lighting cue sheet all done, you want to put your cues in your prompt script. Your prompt script is the script you're going to use to call the show. You're going to put all the lighting and all the sound cues into your prompt script. making sure that you've got a bit very specific exactly where you want to call each cue. Once paper tech is done, also go through your script and put in standbys. Standby is when you tell the technician, hey, get ready, here comes a cue. Standby lights 5, or standby lights 5 and sound 4. They don't know your show very well, so you need to let them know that a cue is coming up, so that they're ready to hit the button as soon as you say the word go. It's best if you can bring your sound cues to your technician on a USB stick. WAV files are the preferred type of file rather than MP3. Also bring your cues on a CD because it's always great to have a backup. Now, if you don't have a stage manager for your show, here's a couple helpful hints to help out your technician. Bring a clean copy of your script. Even if you've done this show in 3 other fringes, it's great for your technician to have a clean copy because the cue numbers might not be the same as the last time you did the show, or your technician might have a way of writing it that makes sense to them and the previous technician's method maybe doesn't work for them. If you have anything specific in your script that is highlighted for your technician, technicians are working under dim light and often blue light. Choose a blue or a pink highlighter as opposed to yellow. Yellow doesn't show up under blue light very well. Because you don't have a stage manager calling your show and your technician doesn't know the show very well, it's extra important to make sure you get a run of your show done during your tech rehearsal so that your technician has the opportunity to see your show before there's a whole audience in the room. When you're calling a show, it's very important to be very specific in how you word your cues. You're going to say stand by lights 5 and sound 4. So they know to be prepared for a lighting cue and a sound cue. When it comes to actually calling the cue, you want to say lights 5 go or sound 4 go. Start with which board they're getting ready for, the cue number, and then the word go. You always finish with the word go because when you say go, they're going to hit the button. So lights 5 go. I hope this was helpful and informative in helping you prepare for your technical rehearsal, and I hope it goes extremely well.
Amazing, thank you. Yes, I'll just say that we do not use CDs any longer. So that probably aged the video quite a bit, but USB.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, USB only. Okay, great. So you saw a few documents in that video, and so we're just going to pop them on the screen, just an example, so we can see a little clearer. This is an example. This is a digital example, but you will have a printout of your prompt script, whether you're a stage manager or you are giving your prompt script to the technician. You will have a hard copy. You should have a hard copy. And these ones you'll see have the numbers, but you will not include the cue numbers so that we can determine them when you tech. But as you can see, very simple. We have our standby in there, standby sound 2 through 3 and lights 4, and then very clearly marked where those sounds go and where the light goes. If you were stage managing this, you would verbally say standby and then lights go, sound go. But if you didn't have a stage manager and you were giving this prompt script to a technician, they would easily be able to operate this. Alison, do you have anything to add there?
No, and I think, yeah, you touched on leaving the cue numbers blank because a lot of times, you know, your technician may assign you cues in the 200 series. If they're working with a lighting console that doesn't have different file saving capabilities, they're just going to make Fringe one big giant file. Very common practice. So that's one of the reasons we ask for those cues to remain blank. And the other thing with some of the sound cues remaining blank, even though you may have already pre-programmed them, say into a program like QLab, there may be modifications that you want to be making once you get to the venue. So it's good to leave buffers between your sound cues if you're pre-programming them ahead of time.
Thank you. Great. And I should just mention everything you see here today is also in the Performer Toolkit. So you can look back, make a note that you want to look at this closer, and go into the performer toolkit, and it will be there. Okay, great. So we're going to look at the cue sheet. So we saw a cue sheet in the video as well. This is just an example. You can make your own. The important part is that you have a column for cues, page number, and the cue, and then a description of the cue. Be as detailed as you would like to be, I think, here. And this is more for like, you could do this for light. It's recommended that you do this for lights, but you could also do this for sound. Is that correct, Allison?
Absolutely. And it doesn't replace a marked script, but it's a fabulous tool when folks are working with the technician, setting those lighting looks and setting those sound looks. It's often a divide and conquer with the technical team from your company sitting beside each of the technicians. So it's a great reference guide for you guys, but it doesn't replace the technical, like the marked up script.
Great. And also, we'll get to that question in 1 second. If they have a stage manager, does the technician run lights and sound, or just lights?
If there's a stage manager, then typically what'll happen is the technician will run the lights, and the stage manager is welcome to run the sound. They know the show a lot better, as was discussed earlier, so they're free to hit the go on the sound if they wish.
Thank you. And did we have a question there, Denise? Thank you. Any recommendations for improvised shows relighting? I have a stage manager that will be handling sound. I also have sounds on a flash drive, an outdated QLab 5 file, and tablet.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. So QLab 5 will run any previous versions of QLab, provided that you've bundled your workspace. The latest updates do that for you automatically. Bundling the workspace, in essence, puts all of the file path information into the show file itself. So QLab 5 will play previous versions, so no worries there. So that should be fine. So yeah, your stage manager is handling sound. For lighting on an improv show, you want to set some base looks that you're going to anticipate using. And then oftentimes what you can ask the technician to do is to put those looks on a fader, or for you guys to commonly understand that, okay, nice blue somber lighting, that's going to be Q4. And something, dance clubby, that's going to be Q5. And then you can just say, oh, I see where they're going. Stand by for Q5. Yep, they're going there. Q5, go. That kind of thing. So set some base looks. And then your stage manager needs to give them the warning, and they can bounce from different cues. So whether it's on a fader or it's pre-programmed is up to how you and your technician decide. But those base looks will be really important for calling up those moments.
Can we bring our own QLab with sound pre-programmed with autofollows and stop cues?
Absolutely, and I recommend it. It's what you've been using in rehearsal, so you know how it behaves. We'll have the connection there. We'll just plug right into the sound system in the venue, and you're on your way. Remembering, in the venues, we have a left speaker split. We can't round sound or anything like that, so do keep that in mind as well. It's just a left-right speaker split in the venues. Thank you. Always
bring a backup USB.
always. Absolutely. Redundancy is the name of the game. If the computer still had a CD player slot, I'd say bring a CD, but they don't. So thank you for that question. That's great.
Great. Thank you. Yes, I think that is, if we don't have any more questions about these documents, we are going to move on to our how to prepare for our tech rehearsal documents. So this, I'll turn over to Allison.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Denise has thrown that up for us. So as was mentioned in the videos, your performer toolkit page, all kinds of resources there. So do visit there. Before tech rehearsal, you're going to go see Sammy and check in. She'll get you your performer cards, verify all kinds of different things, so get you up and running. Masks, we are a mask-friendly festival, so if you choose to wear one, please do so. They're not mandatory for the festival, but if you want to wear one, that's totally fine. So before your tech rehearsal, I mentioned you're going to check in with Sammy. The other thing you're going to do, I always recommend to groups when you're rehearsing, you want to rehearse your setup and rehearse your strike. Everybody should have a job to do in your team. So it was mentioned, Ray, who was on the video, talked about that 45 minutes between shows. The key there is you have 15 minutes to strike your show. That's it. You have 15 minutes to set it up, but the 15-minute strike as well. So you want to make sure everybody in the company has a job to do when it comes to that. And adding that into your rehearsals is really essential. Then there's no confusion when you get to the space. If you're having anything hung, again, Ray talked about hanging scenery and things, plan that out ahead of time. You can email me and ask me any questions depending on the space. There'll be little quirks and quirks with stuff like that, but you want to have that planned out. You also want to plan out who is going to be responsible for what on that day. Okay, who's going to be unloading the truck, who's going to be meeting with the technicians, who's going to be spiking out the furniture, all that kind of stuff. The tech list of what's available in the space is what's available in the space. So do keep that in mind. If you need anything else, you've got to bring that for yourself. I can pause right here, or I'll just keep on on source. No concerns there for own source for playback, like a tablet. Just make sure you bring any adapters that you might need. We'll typically plug into the audio jack of a computer, for example. So if your tablet doesn't have one of those, make sure you bring any and all adapters that you come with your tablet. But yeah, that's totally fine. Thank you for that question. Moving forward, so it's the day of your tech rehearsal. You're going to meet your technician at the loading entrance. As was mentioned in Catherine's video, they may be, the technicians that is, may be working with a previous group. They may be on a meal break. They may be the start of the day and they're still warming up the lights and sweeping and mopping. So wait for them. They will come to get you. Even if there's a friendly person who's offering to let you in, just hang out and your tech will come and get you. Then a reminder, your tech time that Ray was talking about, it includes the time to load in, the time to set up everything on the stage. You're going to spike it on the floor. It includes setting your lighting levels, your sound levels, a run through if you have time. You can also do what's called a cue to cue, where you just jump from major cues to major cues. You skip those long monologues where nothing happens and just concentrate on the main elements, whether it's sound, lights, scene change, stuff like that. And then your tech time also includes striking to that storage space. So keep that in mind as well. So if your tech is a 3-hour time slot, you're going to need your half hour to load in and then that 15-minute strike time, for example, depending on the complexity of your set. So keep that in mind. And your technician will guide you as to where those items go for storage, which is shared amongst all companies. It's another reason why we ask people to rehearse their packs ahead of time. It can become a little bit of Jenga as the rehearsals go on and more companies are trying to make use of the storage area. The more detail that can be thought out during the rehearsal period, the better. So when we talk about lighting cues and sound cues and so on, we really do encourage you to think about the behavior of those cues. How do you want it to enter the audience's ears? Is it a snap? Does it gradually fade up? That sort of thing. What does it do once it's established? And then how do you want to move on to the next lighting or sound state? So keep in mind those sorts of things. That'll also help make sure we get all the cues in the board. There is a note here that says if there's not enough time to get everything done to the technician's satisfaction, they can call me and say, we didn't get enough time. We're going to need more. It's not ready. I don't feel comfortable. And we can, touch wood, I don't think we've ever had to do it, But if necessary, we can take that first show slot of yours and turn it into a tech slot. We don't want to do that. So make sure, Catherine talked in the video about a paper tech. Make sure everybody's aligned, how you want the cues to work, who's doing what for scene changes, how you're setting up your stage, the whole 9 yards. It really helps the tech session go smoothly. All of your company and crew and technical staff are required to be at the technical rehearsal. So please make sure everybody is on board to be on hand for that. Especially, the cast on stage, any backstage personnel. If you've hired extra hands to help you load in faster, that's fabulous. But the key there is the production personnel. They need to know what's going on. So if they miss the rehearsal, it's really going to put you guys at a disadvantage. Oh, did we get to the next page? Sweet. So the technicians, they'll have been at the venue ahead of time. They do a Saturday morning nesting session, as we call it. They're familiar with the space. So, the more descriptive you can be with what you're asking for, the better equipped they'll be to help you achieve those looks, sounds, effects, etc. So do make sure that, just ask them. They're a great resource for you. They have to learn your show in that time period, whether you have a stage manager or not. They still need to get familiar with it. But their priority is lighting and sound. So they're not one to assist with any of the setup or strike or things like that. They're in the booth and they're concentrating on those technical aspects. Again, I want to remind that there's that 15 minutes, which can go by super fast. Particularly once you get into the run, your audiences are going to want to hang out with you. They're going to want to, take pictures and things like that. In the nicest way possible, you just invite them to wait for you outside of the venue while you and the rest of the company strike in that magic 15 minutes. So the fact of the matter is, we talk about the space being shared. Your dressing room areas are shared as well. So all of those things, you need to be out of that whole zone within that 15 minutes so the next company can come in and do what they have to do. Important things to remember. So we talked about a marked script. So if your show does not have a stage manager, that's where we really do need a marked script that's clearly laid out. Devised pieces can be a bit strange. In those cases where there may not be a script, we really do need a clear outline that talks about specific staging with regards to which cues might happen, how long into the piece those cues might be executed, things like that. A really solid outline, guideline of sorts on a piece that doesn't have a script is essential. The technicians, again, they're learning your show for the first time. They're going to do their very best work, and we want to make sure that they're set up for success in that. Sound cues. I talked about just fielding a question. We talked about different versions of QLab. Again, 5 is what we're coming with, but it'll play older versions. Remember to bundle your workspace if your version doesn't do that automatically. USB stick or a preloaded file on your computer. Remembering some things about sound. I wrote myself a little note to make sure I remembered. We can't count on reliable Wi-Fi. So please try to avoid using services like not StreamYard. What the heck is it called? Come on. You know the one. Don't use that one. Spotify. Thank you, Denise. Don't use Spotify. Again, we can't rely on Wi-Fi during the show. So you want to make sure that you're working with content that is saved on your computer. Make sure your computer is charged up. Bring the charging cable with it. Bring any and all adapters that you have on hand or require. I'm going to talk about video in 2 seconds. The other thing about audio to remember is to stay away from compressed file formats like MP3 and MP4. They don't play reliably on our playback programs. So stay away from those compressed files. When I mentioned about adapters, we want to remember that anyone who's using projection in your shows, while we do have projectors available for use in the venues, playback and projection surface are the responsibility of the companies. So when it comes to the playback device, you want to make sure you're bringing an HDMI adapter, whatever your device might be. And I do suggest that content, projection is just like another cast member. So you want to make sure you're working with it in the hall. You've gone through all the transitions, all the files play as they should, all that kind of stuff, so that when it comes to tech time, that's one less thing that's going to eat away at the time that's fleeting as it is. So please make sure you've pre-programmed your content, you've got your HDMI adapter, and you've thought about a projection surface. Again, I talked earlier about, some groups will hang a sheet. Some groups are like, no, I'm just going to project onto that back curtain, right? In the venues, when Ray talked about a black box, right? There's a black curtain at the upstage wall. Some folks are just happy to use that as their projection surface. Others will bring their own fast fold screen, and people responsible for setting it up and tearing it down daily. So that's really important to remember about projection is the playback device and the projection surface. Where do we leave off? Bring crew to assist in the load-in, set props, costumes. Really important. When I talked about, divide and conquer, everybody has a job to do. And while people are setting up on stage, you already have folks up in the control booth working with the technicians. They're going to be loading up the sound cues, testing those, and starting to set the lighting cues or video states or what have you. So you really want to make sure that that you have people doing multiple things, at least at the start of the session, so that you can make the best time. Talked again about, this is point 4, in terms of cue synopsis. Again, as I mentioned, does not replace the script. So a marked script is super essential. So very important there. Spacing. So yeah, while you're up in the booth, or your director or your tech coordinator, whomever, they're up in the booth. The actors are on stage. They're figuring out spacing. They're working on spiking. So the mention in the video was about the spike tape. You're going to be given a specific color of spike tape. We do ask that you use the tape that we provide. It's special for the floor, so it protects it, or doesn't damage it, I should say. And so there may come a time where another group wants to make use of your spike. So just be aware of that. So if you need to make a change or something like that, keep in mind that you're moving your own spikes and not someone else's. I think we're down to 6 now. The real focus is technical work. So, we don't need to talk about your motivation to move to stage left. We need to talk about the light that lights you when you get to stage left. So if there's directing or acting notes that are flagged, make a note of them, please, and handle them outside of the tech rehearsal time. The focus really is on the technical aspects of your piece. That's just the way we have to work. It's a limited time. We do ask that remain the focus for that session. Again, Performer Toolkit, lots of information there. Or you can fire off an email to whoever is best served to answer. And we're all more or less in the same building. So if the email reaches the wrong person, we will forward it off to the next person in line, best capable to answer it. So bring those questions forward all the time. We'll do our very best to answer them as timely as we can. Some of you may know it takes me a while to respond, but I'll get there. The closer we get to the festival, the more full those inboxes get. But we want to make sure those questions are resolved as best we possibly can. What else did I say? We talked about projections. Arrival at showtime, that's 30 minutes. That's when you get into the space. And that's 15 minutes to set up. And then it's 15 minutes for your audience. So we do ask, there's Sammy. We do ask that when you're planning your setup, that 50-minute setup come showtime, we do ask that you prioritize on-stage setup first, and then you can do the behind-the-scenes stuff when the audience is coming in. So remember, your priority in that 50 minutes, that half-hour time in your venue, 15 minutes to get the on-stage stuff set up. And soon we're going to talk about video recording. So I'll just leave it there.
Thank you. That's a big one. That's a big one. Okay, amazing. So just so you know, all of these documents can be found in the Performer Toolkit. We've also been popping the link in the chat, so you could also just be following along that way as well. And please let us know if you have any questions along the way. We're just going to go over our policies regarding archival video recording during the festival. So we're going to take a look at that document. I'll just start off by saying, and then I'll hand it over to Allison, that the very first thing that you will do when you want to take an archival video is you will determine who your videographer is yourself, and then you will determine what performance you would like to video archive. You will need to let me know 3 days in advance by emailing me the show date and time and your company name, so I know. In some cases, in some venues, we do have to make space for them, and so sometimes we'll have to take away seats. So that's why it's very important to let me know 3 days ahead of time. And I'm gonna hand it over to Allison to go over a few more details.
I am here. When Sammy made reference to company name, that's really how we identify you in our various different spreadsheets and systems and things. So please do on every single communication. I even have it in my auto signature. Tell us your company name. There's so many of these fabulous companies, and the show titles are awesome, but we do use company names. So please make sure you use that whenever you're communicating with us. So when a request for recording is received by Sammy, Sammy passes that information along to my team, and then we let the venue technician know. So that's why there's the 3 days. Technician there has to be enough time for us to make them aware of it. A lot of the technicians are working from 9:45 in the morning till midnight, so they may not see anything if a request comes through same day. So we really need the time to process. There may be seats we have to remove, and that'll have to be done at the ticketing phase. So Sammy passes that information along to our ticketing folks as well to remove a certain number of seats for the recording. And we have all that information taken care of behind the scenes. So your technician will know ahead of time that you're going to be recording, but you do want to check in with them. And remember, this is still within that magic 30 minutes. So you want to have someone, that dedicated videographer. As soon as you guys get into the venue, you're going to talk to the technician. The videographer is going to talk to the technician. You guys still have to take care of the setup. You don't get more time because you're videoing. And then the technician is going to show your videographer where to set up. Remember, we don't provide power for the camera equipment, so it'll have to be a self-sustained system. The other thing is that videographer can't move about. It's a fixed location. We want to make sure that there's no interruption to the audience members, so the videographer has to remain in one place. The sound comes from the room. We can't provide a sound feed from the soundboard, so we want to make sure that you're aware it's the room sound that's going to be recorded, as opposed to a direct board feed. If you had microphones, for example, self-contained, yada yada, son of the thing. We're going to tape down any wiring, so we want to make sure we do that. So you'll need the type of tape called Pro Gaff. But again, the battery life these days, that's the way to go, really, is to make sure the camera's got a full charged battery and you're off and running. No moving around, and any additional lighting. We don't permit any additional lighting. So be prepared for that as well. So if it's a show with a lot of lighting changes, you want to make sure that your videographer is prepared for those different lighting changes. But again, they can't be moving around in the seats. You know, they can pan, they can zoom, but that will be the limitation of the filming. Any questions on that?
When can we access the Fringe Fest pre-show announcement sound file? Very good question. Those will be posted on the Performer Toolkit. Tori will be recording them this week, so anytime now they will be there, and before your technical rehearsal, so you can have those programmed into your Q lab, and there will be one with a land acknowledgement and one without.
And for those of you, I got an email today from someone who actually isn't using any sound for their show. And they said, what do we do about the pre-show announcement? The technicians will have a copy of the pre-show announcement on hand. So if you have no pre-show music, if you have no in-show effects or anything like that, the technicians will have the same file to ensure it gets played within the 5-minute. We need to remember that it's important information for the audience to hear. And so we may want to ensure that it gets played within the 5 minutes and that it's at a level that's audible to an attending audience.
Great, thank you. Next, we're just going to talk a little bit about policies around prop weapons.
Oh yes, and I'm sorry, Sammy. I jumped the segue. It was just such a good segue.
Yes, that's okay. It's okay. We're doing it.
If you know me, you know I love a good segue. So
yeah, it was perfect actually. So we had to do it. We had to.
Right, replica weapons and the Fringe. So a lot of shows call for different kinds of weapons. You know, we've done a little bit of work here in terms of outlining what we mean by weapon. And weapons literally mean anything from a knife to a starter pistol to a, machetes, cap guns, the whole 9 yards. Water guns, I think I mentioned. So we get our guidance from the experts in the industry. But we also get our guidance from different venues. Remember, Fringe happens throughout the city, and there's a lot of different rules and regulations. If you're in a BYOV, you need to contact the venue directly. They'll have rules themselves, and their first rule may be just simply no, or they may say just follow the Fringe's regulations. But it's really important if you're in a BYOV that you communicate directly with the venue, CCing the Fringe, so we're all in the loop. Just make sure that you're getting in touch with your venue. The number one thing, check with Fringe. I believe I answered a question someone had just this morning about this. But the key is that we do have final approval on anything that you're going to be bringing in. A lot of these notes here concentrate on firearms, or replica firearms, I should say. The key here is not to use any real firearms under any circumstances. It's just not allowed. Even if you say, well, it's not loaded, or I took the trigger off, or whatever, they're just not permitted on site. So you'll be turned away instantly if you try to bring one of those onto the venue. We don't allow any personally owned or borrowed guns. Everything that's used has to be safe and approved by everyone in the company. So whatever item that you're bringing in, hopefully you've been working with it in rehearsal. If you haven't, don't introduce it now. It's too late. So you're going to be having worked with it in rehearsal. Everybody's seen the item. Everybody's had a chance to get familiar with it, comfortable with it. They know what to expect. So no introducing of new items at this stage in the game is what I'm going to say there. We never permit guns to be pointed in the audience's direction. That's a protocol, not just for Fringe, but for all performing arts. So that's just not permitted. If you have staging that requires someone who's standing perhaps in the audience, you're going to have to adjust that staging accordingly. Here we are. If your show involves audience interaction, use of weapons will not be permitted during those moments. So you'll have to make adjustments there. So it's not only you being in the audience, but any audience up on stage with you at the time. So if you've used something, we've previewed it and it's been approved, but at one point it did handle a projectile, it has to be modified or altered so that it can no longer load, chamber, or fire any projectiles. We take this very seriously, and so we want to make sure that if it could at one point, it no longer can, and there's no possible way to undo the modifications that have been done. Your technician, when you bring it on site, and I'm going to go through those procedures in a second, when your technician sees it, they're also going to have sort of final say on whether or not that item is appropriate. If they feel the measures you've taken are not good enough, they're going to tell you so, and we'll have a discussion after that. We talked about moments ago working with it in rehearsal. So the key, right, when you're working with replica weapons is to hold a safety briefing for all cast and crew. You want to make sure everyone is aware of what you're using. Show them exactly what you've done to make it safe. Explain the chain of responsibility and detail exactly who can handle it and when. What I mean by that is you want a designated person who handles the item before the action of the play itself. One person who transports it, one person who sets it on the table, one person who minds it while it's there. We never leave those items unattended. So whether it's on the person at all times or it's beside the designated person on the props table, we never leave an item unattended backstage. An item like this, I should say. You want to give everyone an opportunity to handle it, and that way they can touch it and see for themselves that it's safe. After that point, nobody else touches it except the designated persons. Really important for that. We talked about one crew member transporting, storing, placing, supervising, and receiving the replica weapon. We also encourage folks, you should keep a paper trail where the replica weapon was obtained and who's responsible for it. The replica weapon should never be out of that person's eyesight or control during the use. I mentioned the props table, for example. Once finished, the replica should never go outside the venue unless properly and discreetly cased. The two things about this is that it's in a locked case, locked vessel, and also that the case should give no indication of the size and shape of the item. You know, we're downtown, but regardless, it could be anywhere. You know, your venue could be, a little distance away. Even just the impression of the shape of the item is enough to cause concern to someone who might see it from a distance. So we want to make sure that the case does not indicate shape of any kind. And we talk about the fact that most venues will not permit the item to remain on site between shows, pretty much all venues. It's your item, and it's important that you keep it on your person at all times. Let's see here. When you're looking for a replica gun to use on stage, we want you to consider things like building a mock-up or finding a generic-looking gun that differs significantly from the real ones in size, shape, and color. Technically, it is possible to make it look too real. Buying realistic-looking replicas and painting them to look real can potentially result in charges for possession of prohibited devices, especially if they are lost or misused. So I mentioned just the shape of something. Again, it's if it looks real, the police and the public will assume it is. So we really, really want to be cautious if you're using something like this. Sound effects. Again, if you're using a water pistol instead, your sound effects can really go a long way in selling that moment. Your actors too, with their kickback and all that, they can help sell the moment, but sound effects can do the same as well. We never permit blanks to be used. In the same way, we would never permit cap guns to be used, the cap portion of a cap gun. So those are just not permissible. So come prepared with a sound effect. If that's desired, you can also use a slapstick backstage, two pieces of wood slapped together or slapped down on the stage floor. It can have a really impactful sound. That's a long list of things. At the end, we say it's just a prop. if you've taken all the safety precautions and you've all had the time, your entire company and your technician, they're getting familiar with the item, they know what it is, they know the chain of custody of it and things like that, then there's no reason to let it be a hindrance to your show. So lots of steps there. They're all very important. We don't want to skip a single one. So please do reach out to me directly if you have a weapon in your show, so we can talk about it and make sure that we clearly understand in both cases, both from my end and from your end, what you're doing with it and how we can make sure it stays safe.
Thank you. Okay, we have time for some questions now, and we're going to take the questions, and then I just have a few performer updates to go through as well. But we'll start with, okay, do QLab 4 files still work on QLab 5?
Yes, they do. Just again, make sure you've bundled that workspace. And that again saves the file source destination into the show.
Fantastic, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any other questions? Okay, so think of your questions, pop them in the chat. I'm going to go through a few updates, and then we'll take a couple minutes at the end just in case. When are we allowed to poster? I was going to talk about this, so this is fantastic. Thank you, Denise, for the segue as well. We'll post the poster policy link in the chat right away. But you can start postering actually tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day you can start postering, and there are designated poster spots. They are very clearly listed in the poster policy document. It's a big document. We're not going to go through it. We don't have time, but it does clearly indicate where the best spots for posters are, and how many posters you should be using. Standard size 11 by 17. Some do 8 by 10. There's lots of places in Old Market Square, at the MTC main stage, at the warehouse, and just be wary of postering on city property. They will tear them down. They will weekly go around and tear them down if they are on city property. So just keep that in mind. You don't want to waste your posters that way. And while we're waiting for more questions, I'll just go through a few things. So check-in, yes, is starting on Friday, and I have sent those hours to you. If it doesn't work for you, please email me, and we will work something out. But it is very, very important that you check in before the festival begins, because I will give you your badge. Your badge is like your identification when you are in the performer lounge and when you are at your show. It's really good just to have it with you, so we know you belong here. It is also called a performer comp card, which means that you can use it to get off the standby list into shows when there are empty seats. And the way that works is you go up to the ticket sellers, they'll put you on a standby list. When they know that there's going to be open seats, this is up to the discretion of the ticket sellers. When they know that there's going to be unsellable seats, they will start giving out the tickets off the standby list. And all of those directions are on the back of the comp card. So you'll be able to look at those as well. We also have instructions in the performer toolkit called Comp Cards Explained. Says everything. As well as when you check in, you'll also be signing your safe spaces agreement. This is just the primary contact will sign this, and you're basically signing on behalf of your whole company. I have sent you those documents already, the safe spaces document, the code of conduct document, and you will share those with your company. And I think we do have another question. When will the sandwich boards be available on market? Yes. So you are able to put those up as of Monday, I believe. What is the date on Monday? Those will go on Market Avenue, and you just want to make sure you're not blocking any fire exits there. We also, our payout is by EFT this year. So if you have not got your banking information from, have not sent it to me, please do. That will make your check-in much, much quicker, or bring a hard copy to check-in. But it is easier if you just send it beforehand. It gets very, very busy. We have, you are able to, oh, I'm so sorry. My cat has started meowing. She's just like looking at me and she like wants my attention. I'm like, sorry, I have to talk. Okay.
That was me.
I know it's, she's just staring at me. It's giving me like deep COVID vibes. Okay, so you can book your company comps, 10 per show. You would have been sent a very special link for this from Tori. Basically, when you log into your Fringe account, it will auto-populate a promo code that makes the tickets $0. You will book your tickets as if you're buying tickets for $0. They are under your name. And whoever you're giving the comp to, you just have to let them know at the ticket booth to say, I have an advance ticket under this name. And you can book those anytime using that link, as well as you can check your advance tickets. Tori sent out that link on Friday. That is a special link as well. You log into your Fringe account and you'll be able to see your advance ticket sales there. If you are billeting this year, please make sure that you are in contact with your billet. We are also doing billet agreements this year, and I've been starting to send those out this week. Those are required to be signed before you arrive at the billet house. So that is a change this year. So make sure that you are signing those agreements. If you have any questions, please just shoot me an email. This year we have Captain's Prologue, which is basically a way to plug your show at Old Market Square. And I have sent the sign-up link for that as well. Do we have any last questions? I know that was too much. That was too much information. I'm here every day, so I will help you.
I just wanted to point out, I asked Denise to throw in the chat a quick little frequently asked questions part about QLab, 4 versus 5. So have a look at that because they're very specific in terms of which version of 4 is compatible into 5. And then the QLab website, the Figure 53 website, has information on renting licenses as well, and it's pretty dirt cheap. Yeah, if you're on a version that doesn't work, then yeah, check it out.
Okay, thank you. And just a big shout out to Denise. Denise is our festival assistant, and she's just been behind the scenes, like putting the documents up and the videos and the links and the questions. So thank you, Denise.
Thank you, Denise, very much.
Oh my gosh. And yes, again, we are here for you. Looking forward to seeing you at check-in very, very soon. And thank you for coming today. Do you have anything else, Allison?
No, happy Fringe, everybody. Keep those questions coming. And yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you at your tech rehearsals.
Thank you.